Okay, we're coming to you live again from the campus of the Pineywood School. We are the oldest operating African American private boarding prep school in the country. And even during this pandemic, we have made it through, but that age gives us a lot of history, right? And so we, this fall, will be entering our 113th year of operation, and we're really excited about that. Here on the campus, we're in our own small museum here. Behind me is a portrait that was painted by a famous artist, Carl Wolf, a portrait of Dr. Jones, our founder. We're really excited about him. One second, let me see. He's talked about in this little book, The Little Professor of Piney Woods. Alumni who are listening in will know all about this piece. And the author, Beth Day, on the back of this edition. But there's all kind of history in this building. We actually, during the break, we were just looking at some of the tools that were used by Miss Jones, Grace Jones, Marsh Jones' wife, and others as they were making quilts or other things that they made take care of themselves in those days. There's even a bust of Dr. Jones over here. This bust was made by Mrs. Speed. And one of the things when I first came to Piney was I went to go see one of our supporters, a gentleman here in Mississippi named Leland Speed. And didn't know the connection between the Speeds, but Leland shared with me, he said, my mother did the bust of Dr. Jones. And we're saddened because within this last year, we lost Leland. He passed away over the last year, and we were sad to see him go. But it's part of a lot of history here at Piney Woods. I'm going to show you on these photos back here. You get some sense here of how they used to do graduation here at Piney Woods. And so whatever your skill or trade or craft was, you had to show it. And so if you did cooking, you had to demonstrate that you actually knew how to cook. And of course, we know how to cook around here. You would have heard from the kids earlier, they were telling you about how good the food is. And so really enjoyed that. And just going all the way down to even agriculture. You can see a horse and buggy here and all the things that kids would learn how to do. So it wasn't enough just that you read and write. That was really important. We also wanted you to have a craft, some kind of trade or skill. And so they did that. Let's go and look. I just don't want to turn my back to you, but we're going to go and look in this other room. Some things happening again in the museum. This picture is always an encouraging picture to me. This picture is with Lawrence Jones, and behind him is a bunch of bags. Those bags have money in them. This picture is part of what reminds us that in 1954, Ralph Edwards asked people to give $1 in order to help the continuation of the Pineywood School. It was a national TV broadcast. They showed the life of Dr. Jones and the development of the Pineywood School. He asked people to do $1. And enough people, you see all those bags of people? Enough people sent $1 that the Pineywood School is still here today. And so I know $19 is not that much, but in celebration of this Freedom Day, we're asking you to support this Freedom School, partner with us for just 19 bucks, right? If enough people would do that, Pineywood will continue to be here for a really long time to come. So this is about our museum, but we want to take a minute and talk to you about another museum that features Pineywood School. In fact, two museums that feature Piney Woods School. It's what they call the two museums here in Mississippi, in Jackson, Mississippi. The Civil Rights Museum and the Mississippi History Museum. Both have something featuring Piney Woods School. And so I'm going to ask them to go ahead and cue up that video. So it'll be playing as we continue to talk. And then we'll share with you some of what's in those facilities, sharing the history and the legacy of Piney Woods School. All right. Okay, we're trying to cue that video up. In the meantime, I'll show you a little bit more about what's here in our museum on campus. And as soon as they're ready, they'll give me a little signal, and I'll be talking you through what's in the Civil Rights Museum here in Mississippi. And so here's another picture of the mail that used to come in to Piney Woods, and you can see there how much support we had from around the country and really around the world. And a picture of Grace Jones. So much history here at Piney Woods. Yeah, several books we still have. The Bottom Rail, important book, Lawrence C. Jones. And I've read all these books. It's about time for me to go back and read them again. The Spirit of Piney Woods is another book here. We've already looked at The Little Professor. I think we're probably ready to go with the civil rights video. And so we get that one rolling. We'll talk you through what's going on there. And so this is really exciting here in the state of Mississippi that we have a Civil Rights Museum that captures a lot of our history. A lot of the history of the struggle of African Americans here in Mississippi and others. And so in this Civil Rights Museum, you can go in and you can find the Piney Woods School featured. We're featured in numerous places here in the museum. That's actually a photograph of the museum that we're in right now here on the campus. And there's more information about Piney Woods. I just saw a picture also of the Cotton Blossom Singers. That was a group that was started by Grace Jones and would tour the country singing and raising money for the Piney Woods School. And then you get some glimpse of Iowa Hall. Iowa Hall is a historic building on the campus. So many people donated from Iowa that they named that building Iowa Hall. And you can see the kids fouled out around it. But Iowa Hall still stands on this campus today. We're actually going to need to do a campaign soon so that we can give Iowa Hall its next iteration. It's had a lot of iterations during its time here at Piney Woods, but can certainly do some more. Is that the International Sweethearts of Rhythm? Yeah, so International Sweethearts of Rhythm, you know, this last year we lost Helen Jones Woods. She was among the most prominent members of the International Sweethearts of Rhythm, the mother of our board member, Kathy Hughes, media mogul Kathy Hughes, and the daughter of who you see now, Lawrence C. Jones. And so all of what you've seen in this video is featured in the two museums right here in Mississippi. We thank the two museums for allowing us to come in and film some of this footage and share some of what's happening at Piney Woods, some of the ways that we raise money, some of the ways that we were able to be sustainable. Back when lots of people smoked and we didn't know smoking was bad for you like we know now, we used to make things like these ashtrays, and you could sell them and you could send them out. And it was something people could have on their coffee table. That was part of our sustainability. and part of how we did our work here at Piney Woods. We're continuing to do sustainability work. We're continuing to honor our history on this Juneteenth. If you would help us, in the same way that folks helped Lawrence C. Jones with just $1, if you'd help us with just $19, enough of you doing that will ensure that we can continue to scholarship young people to have a part of this rich history, this rich African-American history, this rich American history. On this Freedom Day, support our Freedom School. Just $19 to partner with us. You can do that on links throughout our Facebook feed. And I'm sure that we went over our 9 minutes for this segment, but we had some segments that were shorter, so don't get on me. Add them up at the end of the day if you so. Anyway, we gotta go. We'll see you back next hour, 19 after the hour. All right? See you soon.